Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another Aethoro reaction. The last one I heard was their song featuring Moon Jelly that was Unraveling, I believe. It's been a while since I've heard that. I think it was like somewhere in the fall, so like 5 months ago or something. But either way, my executive producer Lutra wanted me to get to this one, which is Sketchbook featuring vally.exe. I think I recognize Valley too, so they've probably been a part of something else I've listened to in the past, which is always cool. But I haven't listened to the other song since I heard it. As much as I enjoyed what it was, I just haven't gotten back around to it yet. I do have it in one of my playlists, actually. I just haven't heard that in a while. So I kind of forgot the sound that they have. So this is going to be kind of like me re-experiencing Aethoro for the first time, and that's going to be kind of cool, but I guess I got to listen to this song and figure out what it's all about. So without further ado, let's go! Ooh, love that shift there. It's a beautiful piano to start. Gorgeous part.
Passes by, as stars slowly fly. Memories shine brightly as our pages.
Yeah, I know I've heard this voice before, so this must be Valley. Oh, beautiful way to open that. Ooh. A little diddly, a little fancy there.
We'll never forget though we will part.
Release the tension.
So if our world start crumbling, skies start falling, and dreams are fading clear, treasure these moments close to your heart and cherish the time we share.
Oh, this is so beautiful, dude.
Minds start wandering, time starts piling, the walls
The tight harmonies in there too. I love the reflection between the lyrics and the instrumental. It's really well done, especially right there. Just crank up that intensity. Like, lean more into it. Get more orchestrated. Release the swells and the brass. Clever. Making that the railroad crossing. Do, 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 do. That's the chime. I hear it. This is the second song I've seen put in like sheet music during a solo in like 2 days. It's kind of funny. And I always love it because I love seeing how they phrase it and everything.
I'm one call away, so don't fight this all alone. So if our world starts crumbling, skies start falling, and dreams are fading clear, I'll keep these moments close to my heart and cherish them.
Wait a minute, is vally.exe a voice bank? Is that what I recognize it from? Also, Jesus Christ. Beautiful boost here. Insanely gorgeous swell. Who would I have heard vally.exe on? Maybe a DM Dokuro song? Ooh. Wait a minute. I remember that color palette from the other video. Dude. A little bit of atmospheric sound design creeping in there at the end. Putting you back into the scene. Hey, I remember that windmill. Okay. So because this is the title track, maybe they're just kind of revisiting other locations from the same release. Just keying into that nostalgia even within the album itself. Bro, that's unfair, Aethoro. Come on. Are you fucking kidding me with that? Like, you gotta chill once in a while. First of all, an apology. vally.exe is not a voice bank. I just recognized the name and I couldn't think of where. So my first guess is, okay, maybe a voice bank. And the only real reason I assumed that, because I didn't recognize the voice, was also because the voice did have a little bit of correction on it, which all vocal lines do, but her quality of tone is very, like, flat, which does make things like vocal correction, like Melodyne and other auto-tuning sort of things, really tune into that, especially in certain mixes, which happens with this one. That's not a bad thing. Everyone uses vocal correction. I don't give a shit. That does not affect my opinion of her as a singer or of the composer and producer at all. It's just something that was like, oh, I hear that. Maybe that's why, because those also have that quality to them because of how they're produced. So I went to find out who this was and like went to her channel, found out, oh, that's why. I've listened to Overjoy Overdose. That's one of the reasons. So she was a singer on that. But she also did a very popular cover of my friend Depot TSK's song Oyasumi Nation, which I love. And I've actually heard her cover before. So I was like, I know I've heard this voice. That wasn't incorrect. It was just, I swore it was probably from something like DM Dokuro, who uses a lot of V-synth stuff in order to make their vocals. And this could have easily been that if I was right about that factor. But again, it's just because her tone is so clean that when notes are just a slight bit off, and I mean a slight. I've worked in Melodyne before. It is very picky about certain frequencies, especially the ones that hang on. It'll take all that warbliness and like any sort of shakiness in the voice, which usually would be vibrato, and it crushes that. And you have to be either super careful about controlling that, or this sort of thing happens in certain voice types, especially with how thin her voice is. It just causes that to be that much more extrapolated in the mix. So it's not a fault of theirs. It was just an assumption of mine that I was incorrect on. Brilliant vocalist though, because by the time at the end I was like, this is way too dynamic to be an actual V-synth. I've only heard a few people handle vocal synths that sound anything even remotely to human. She was just constantly nailing vocal cues for the emotional cues in the song that I was like, you'd have to spend days tuning a V-synth to be able to pull that off. So I started to doubt myself by the end, which is why I had to look it up. But that's why. Also, sorry, Valley, if you happen to see this, did not intend to do that. But at the same time, brilliant song, great performance. Holy shit. Maybe someday I'll get to work with you at some point. I would love to have you on a song. Not that I've even put one out in a year. Leave me alone. To the overall song, my thoughts on this. Fucking Aethoro. Like, while I was listening to this song, I remembered everything about the other song I had heard. I was like, oh, like it wasn't the same song. And yes, I did have like a little bit of an, oh, right moment at the end there. But even earlier than that, I was feeling this sense of like, man, I'm locked into this in a way that I did not intend to be. And I think it's partially because I've already experienced a part of this world. So that nostalgia that I was talking about and like cluing into that was also dragging me in, despite it being months since the last time I heard anything from this album. So I was just like kind of flabbergasted by that. I was taken aback real heavily, but kind of more starting at the beginning of the song. Again, beautiful piano interlude at the beginning. Beautiful, beautiful start there. Loved everything about that. Like the way it flowed and opened up just a little bit. It was resolving into these like nice little flourishes and everything. It was like brightening it up and like cluing you into where the story was going to go and where you're starting, which is the most important part a lot of the time because you have to set the tone somewhere, and that's what intros are for. So just kind of setting you down, and basically it's like somebody put you in a chair and like patted your shoulder and they're like, it's going to be okay. You're in good hands here. You're safe. And now let's talk about it. And then it just got into everything that this song had. This hit me in a lot of ways. Just like the other one ended up doing, it hit me in a lot of nostalgic ways where I'm just like, man, I remember this feeling, you know, like they've captured this nostalgic quality that it's like a lightning in a bottle. But this artist, Aethoro, has managed to do this twice in a row to me now. And I'm sure this entire album probably does the same thing. And it's just beautiful to hear because, again, you're playing with flourishes and you're kind of abusing the ears and playing to a lot of things that make a lot of people go, oh. There's a lot of psychology to music, and I talk about this quite often, but like there are certain people who know exactly how to clue into that, even if they don't intend to. And I'm sure for this one, it probably is intended, but there are certain clusters of notes, certain chords, and just in general, certain handlings of phrasings and dynamics and how to go about that triggers certain emotional responses in people. And for this one, it's just constant nostalgia. It feels comfortable. And that comfort is something you lose as you get older and something that you remember fondly. So your nostalgia holds on to that. Your mind and your memories latch on to those sorts of sensations. And this song is like that in audio form. So you're just getting more and more exposure to it as you go on. And then when that big emotional swell hit halfway through, I was in the middle of a sentence and I wasn't ready for it. And I did actually choke up a little bit because it punched me in the face. Like it took me a second to like compose myself back to a normal mental state there. But if I had let myself go, I would have started tearing up. There's something about that, the punch into it. Like it was like somebody was, like I mentioned earlier, the whole like sitting you down, patting your shoulder and saying it's going to be okay. And it's like halfway through that conversation, they hugged you, like just full embrace, like a tackle hug. And they fully latched on there, a bear hug style. And you start bawling. That's what I mean by abusing emotions and that psychology, because there are moments that lull in these songs that kind of allow you to release your inhibitions. And you're just like, oh, okay, I am good here. I'm fully relaxed now. I've been listening to you. I've been hearing what you're saying. I'm processing the information. And then that big emotional impact happens and it's too much sometimes. You have a cathartic response to it and you're just like, well, now I'm here. How do I process this new information? But it didn't stay overly emotional either. Like that first emotional break where she said wrong and everything got bigger, the emotion got heavier. It didn't necessarily get impacted. It just felt like it swelled to an absolute peak and was like pouring out the top. It's not necessarily like a volcano, but maybe like a geyser, you know, like it's still water. There's still flowing energy to it. It doesn't have an aggression that's going to hurt you necessarily. It just feels like there's a lot of power behind it. And then that second one, that was a little bit hotter. That was like, if the first one was a cold geyser, that was a hot geyser. That was like some shit at Yellowstone. It was just everything all at once. And again, just the emotional impact of that is what's capturing my brain so hard on this. And the lyrics, just in a general sense, talking about like the good times and remembering those, and we have those no matter what happens. The essence of Sketchbook as a title helps with that too, because it's like processing those memories like they would be in a sketchbook. We still have these. They're still here. They're tangible. They're physical. We cannot remove these. They are experiences that we've shared. Even if time gets the better of us, we still have those. That will not change. We may change. Time may change. It might move on, but these experiences are locked in our livelihoods and who we are as people. That's what makes up people. You know, your experiences in life make up who you are, and who you share those with will impact them very much the same. It might not impact them the same way, but you still have that emotional bridge that you can share and sometimes cross to visit each other and remember the good times or the bad times, depending on the situation. And that's why I think that this song was giving me that feeling of somebody sitting you down and wanting to talk to you. And even though there are these big emotional swells in here, because they're trying to fight against that energy of like, well, if something does change, things are changing, there's suddenly stuff going on, what if everything goes wrong? And you can feel the song reflect that, just like in that moment where she says wrong, where everything goes wrong. If things go wrong though, they're still there. The memories are still there. And the song hits that very hard, and I love that about this project so far. The other song was very much hitting the same sort of emotional and lyrical message there, so I'm sure more of these are going to be, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting more, because from my current queue at least, Lutra has another song from Aethoro in there ready to go. I don't know if it's from the same album, but it is from the same person, and usually musicians and artists in general like to kind of touch on the same subject matters, things that they're familiar with and mean a lot to them, and you can tell from just how much love is put into this project that Aethoro really cares about this subject matter and reflecting on these moments. So I'm excited to hear more from Aethoro, because damn, I mean damn. Sorry again to vally.exe for maybe getting that wrong there, but damn, everything out the window with my incorrect assumptions on that side. You fucking nailed it. Both of you did. Brilliant work all around, and I don't have much more to say than that. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from Aethoro, by all means, drop in the comments below. Like I said, I've got another one. I think it's something to do with deer. Like deer tracks or something like that. I only glanced at it, but like there's another one on the way. But if you want to guarantee something, much like Lucha did for this one, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where you can force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter who it's by, what it's from, or if it's good or bad. None of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!